Sure. Here's a story about a family secret uncovered by accident. The box in the attic. It was a warm spring afternoon when Mia decided to tackle her grandmother's attic. Nana had recently moved into an assisted living facility, and Mia had volunteered to sort through the boxes of old memories and keepsakes to help decide what to keep and what to donate. It was a daunting task, but Mia secretly loved digging through old treasures. As she climbed the creaky wooden ladder, the attic smelled of aged paper and lavender. The sunlight filtered through a dusty window, revealing stacks of boxes and forgotten furniture covered in sheets. She set to work, uncovering photo albums, vintage clothes, and stacks of letters tied with faded ribbons. After a few hours of sorting, Mia stumbled across a small wooden box tucked away in a corner behind an old trunk. It was different from the rest, ornate with delicate carvings of roses on the lid. The box was locked, but the key dangled from a ribbon wrapped around it. Curiosity piqued. Mia opened the box. Inside, she found a stack of yellowed letters and a black and white photograph of a young woman in a 1940s dress holding a baby. The handwriting on the back of the photo read, "Martha and Little Annie, 1944. Mia furrowed her brow. She didn't recognize the names. Her grandmother's name was Evelyn, and as far as Mia knew, Evelyn had never mentioned a Martha or an Annie. As she read the letters, her heart began to race. They were love letters, passionate, tender, and dated from 1943 to 1945. The letters were signed by a man named Thomas, who described his longing to reunite with Martha and their baby. One letter ended with the words, "One day, we'll all be together. I'll take care of you and Annie, my loves." Mia sat back, stunned. Who was Martha? And what happened to Thomas and Annie? She had to know. Later that evening, she visited Nana at the assisted living facility. Clutching the photo and the letters, she hesitated outside her grandmother's room, unsure of how to start the conversation. Finally, she took a deep breath and stepped inside. "Nana," Mia began, holding up the photograph, "who is Martha?" And Annie. Nana's eyes widened, and for a moment she looked as though she might deny everything. But then she sighed deeply and motioned for Mia to sit beside her. "Martha," Nana said slowly, "was my older sister, and Annie was her daughter." Mia's jaw dropped. "I didn't know you had a sister. What happened to them?" Nana's hands trembled slightly as she spoke. "Martha fell in love with a soldier Thomas during the war. They weren't married when Annie was born, and back then that was scandalous. Our parents didn't approve. When Thomas went off to war, Martha came to live with us. But the shame was too much for our father. He forced Martha to give Annie up for adoption. Martha was heartbroken. She left a few months later and never came back." Mia's heart ached at the sadness in her grandmother's voice. "And Thomas?" she asked gently. "He died in the war," Nana whispered. "Martha wrote to him, but he never got her letters. She never forgave our parents, or me, for not standing up to them. I tried to find her years later, but by then, it was too late. I've kept this box all these years as a reminder of her." Mia felt a surge of emotion. She reached for her grandmother's hand. "You didn't tell anyone?" Nana shook her head. "I thought it was better that way, but now, maybe it's time. You have the right to know where you come from." Over the next few weeks, Mia and her grandmother pieced together the story of Martha and Annie. They even tracked down adoption records and discovered that Annie had grown up to have a family of her own. Though Martha had passed away years ago, her legacy lived on in a branch of the family tree no one had known about. What started as an afternoon of attic cleaning became a journey to reconnect with lost family and a chance for Nana to finally make peace with her past.